Many of you probably remember that I used to compete in Brawl Stars competitively, but now since I moved to a coaching position, I wanted to prove that I still have what it takes to compete. So I decided to sign up for a tournament with Tyrant and Zulon, and we called our team name 2021 World Finals.
Great reserving of the gadget there from Tyrant, spinning as well. Giving the protest though, he thinks it's all over.
Now the bracket came out and our first opponent was Wash Team. Wash Team is a top 3 team from NA West, and our first match was not going to be easy. We were going to be put to the test right away. So our first match was Bridge Too Far, an old competitive map, but luckily one of our best maps in the past. The first game started out really shaky though. We died a couple times when we shouldn't have, and the other team quickly grabbed a lead about 46% to 97. The game wasn't looking great for us, but we kept our composure and slowly started to even out the score, but the time was running out and we were still down with about 15 seconds left.
Winnable?
Yes.
Oh, he's called super.
No, bro, he can't.
Oh my god.
No, he's so far, bro.
Oh my god. Now with that win, we hopped into game 2 and we started out much better. The game played out almost completely opposite of the first. We had a huge lead. They were pushing in with the clock running down and we just needed to defend to win the game.
Cut left. Trying to go cut here.
I died, right?
He missed.
You missed super.
No way.
He did miss.
That's 10% though.
Now, since we won set number 1, we were just one set away from winning since the best of 3 format, but our next set was going to be completely messed up by the draft. We managed to score a few goals throughout the set, but ultimately it was just going to be too hard to win. They managed to take set 2 pretty convincingly, so forced us to set number 3. Now, if we lose set number 3, we'd be completely out of the tournament and it would crush my hopes since I really wanted to think that I could possibly compete again, but we weren't going to go down without a fight. First game basically went completely perfect. Everybody won their lanes and we got our 10 gems very easily and walked away with game 1. Now game 2 wasn't quite going to be the same. We started out about the same as the first game. We put the pressure on early, gaining ourselves a huge lead of 9 gems, but as soon as I could taste the victory, I started to lose control and started to panic a little bit in the back of my mind. However, eventually we regained the control, but by the time it took us to do so, they managed to even out the score 9 to 9 gems. Now at this point there was one really crucial play where I ended up missing Tyrant with a Gust super, and if I hit that super, Tyrant would have been able to win his lane very convincingly, but unfortunately didn't happen and they managed to win the lane, pushing us back pretty hard. And eventually I went down and they managed to take game number 2, forcing us to a final double match point game 3. Now game 3 honestly started out just like the first 2. We had a great lead, but I didn't want to make the same mistakes that I made in game 2, so I had to focus and calm myself down.
Nice, bro. Oh my god. Yep.
Yes, okay.
He's low.
I need to.
Got it.
Next one spawns on our side.
He's so weak.
You good? You're also weak. Nice.
Nice. He's 3k still.
I'll be honest as well.
My bad, sick.
No, you're good, bro. I need to take a piss really
He
bad.
landed that shield the second game.
Our next match was versus none other than Bobby, but this time he wasn't playing with his normal squad. He planned to just have fun this tournament, so he was teamed up with 2 pretty good Power League players, but honestly this almost made me try even harder because it was a lose-lose situation for us. If we win, it was probably the norm and what should happen, but if we lost, well, that would just be a little bit embarrassing to me and it would really suck. And so hopping into the first game, I was more nervous than when I even played against Wash Team, and honestly, it showed right away. I got absolutely destroyed by Bobby right at the start of the game, and that led them to grabbing a huge lead. After that though, I didn't panic. I knew the game was far from over, and we slowly started to close the gap on their lead and had full control with a really nasty setup. All we had to do was just stay alive and hit the safe while my teammates got them low and kept them pushed back in their spawn. And that's exactly what we did. We got control and we took game 1. Game 2 went so much smoother. We actually had a good play at the start, and well, we grabbed a pretty big lead, and well, our comp is just really strong once we get control, and our teammates just held it down. So that meant we were going going to take set number 1 pretty comfortably. Our next set though was on Backyard Bowl, and even though the first game was a little close, we managed to grab 2 wins pretty convincingly, but to be honest, it kind of makes sense since we had 2 pro players, Tyron and Zulon, and myself, a retired pro player versus 1 pro and 2 Power League players. But nonetheless, GG's to Ducky, Bobby, and Stormy. They played very well, but this win put us into the semifinals. And our opponent was going to be none other than former Team Mystic, Luffy, Zeus, and Killer. Now, for anyone who doesn't watch BSC, this team we were facing is one of our main competitions throughout the year. So this was going to be a really tough match. Our first map draft honestly wasn't great to me, but every game is still winnable as long as you focus. And well, we had a picture perfect start to the game, grabbing ourselves a huge lead right off the bat. Now, at this point when you're playing Heist and you have such a big lead, you can honestly just base race and completely ignore the other team, and that's exactly what we had to do. And well, since their comp isn't great at control, we managed to push through, eventually grabbing game number 1, but we probably couldn't get the same start as we did the first game. And game 2 was much closer. It was very back and forth for a long time until now.
And Daryl's right too. Nice.
Daryl's
Daryl's
really
right.
I got two. I'm going up.
Great.
Yeah, we're gonna defend.
I'm just gonna suicide for damage here, I think.
Yeah, we're coming.
Okay, I got to 20.
That'll help him. Nice timing for shots.
Okay.
Oh, Daryl's so low, bro.
They're too dead. Too dead.
Daryl's.
Yeah, you can defend him. So.
Yeah. Missed him.
Nice.
I got you. Thanks for you. You're good. No way. Call that super. Nice, Cori.
Got
Nice,
one.
Cori. I have super.
I think I got killer here. Good.
Nice.
Let's go, Tyrant. You and me.
Go that way. Go that way. Nice. I'm gonna maybe finish, or I'm gonna threaten to finish.
I'm give him super. I'm not gonna give.
Yeah.
I can defend. I have close to super. Yeah, you do you, Cori.
I don't know if I can end it, but I might. No, I can't end it, boys.
No, we're good.
Nice. And after that intense game, we took set number 1. Now at this point, we were 1 set away from actually making it to the grand finals of the tournament. Now the next set was on Backyard, and we came out flying. We got some nice shots right off the bat, and Tyron and Zulon capitalized with a nice Ruff's wall break into an easy goal for us to take the lead 1-0. But Luffy's team quickly didn't hesitate to put the pressure back on, trapping us in our spawn. We did our best to defend, but eventually they broke through, tying it up 1-1. And then, if you know Backyard, you know the games usually go to overtime, and that's exactly what happened. But that's where our comp really shines. In overtime, we have much more range than them, so as long as we hit our shots, it's going to go pretty well for us. And we actually started to tap them, so with a nice little team wipe at the end, we managed to grab the first game. Now, next game, I'm not going to bore you with this very long stalemate until overtime, so I'll show you when the actual exciting stuff happens.
That guy's low.
Ours low. Nice.
I got this. Just super.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, so glad I hit that shot. He would have scored.
Nice, bro. Good shot.
But like I was saying, in overtime, even though our comp is better, anything can happen, and they had a really good opportunity, and it wasn't looking very good for us. So actually, we managed to win, and with that win, we moved on to the finals, and now we were 1 game away from actually winning the entire tournament. But our finals opponents were going to be arguably even tougher than the last. Their team was formed of a mix of players. They had Patchy from Luminosity, Juan Carlos from CMG, and Sans from STMN. And as we were hopping into the first set, we ended up drafting a very defensive comp versus their very aggro comp because they had just so much pressure with Nita and Daryl. We had to really play this game picture perfect for us to really have a chance to win, or else we'd basically get 1 pushed. So our game plan was to focus on the defense, and when we got a couple kills, try to sneak up the map and grab some damage where we could. And well, this made for a really close game. Eventually though, they pushed through and managed to grab game 1. Game 2 seemed to go a little bit better for us. However though, we grabbed a few kills early on, and we were able to grab more damage on their safe while also holding some control. And that was the key thing. We held control. And since we held control, we actually managed to grab more damage than they did and ending off their safe, grabbing game number 2. Now game number 3 was also another really close game. We were very close for a long time, but in the last little bit of time, we had to defend with our lives, and unfortunately, with the Nita Bear and the Daryl roll, they managed to grab the win. There was just too much pressure for us to handle, so they were 1 set up on us. Now set 2 was going to be one of the most wild sets I played in a very long time. We tried a comp we really never tried before, so we had no idea how this was going to play out. And well, their comp had so much pressure with Tara and Poco, we had to really focus on not letting them score too early. But unfortunately, that was really hard to do as they scored the first goal of the first game, but eventually we managed to equalize. Once they run out of gadgets and stuff, it was a little bit easier for us to play the game, so we tied up the score 1-1 with some nice plays. But unfortunately, thanks to some nice tower pulls and stuff like that, they eventually overwhelmed us again, grabbing the first game of Brawl Ball. Now at this point we were thinking that maybe our tournament journey was going to end in the grand finals, but that didn't mean we were going to stop trying. They managed to grab the first goal again, putting us down 1-0, but thanks to some nice plays from Tyrant and Zulon, we scored right back and equalized it back to 1-1. And well, basically just like the first game, they started to push back in with their Tara supers and stuff, and eventually we all died and Tyrant was the only one left to defend the goal. And it was looking like it was over for us. Hello.
Nice.
Nice.
Maybe? And somehow, with some crazy luck, we forced this to go to game 3. And well, in game 3, we were hoping to have a better start, but unfortunately that did not happen. Game 3, again, they scored the first goal, but honestly, not long after, once they started to wear out of gadgets, we managed to equalize the score again to 1-1. Now, at this point, the game was super all over the place. Patchy actually went for a goal attempt, and he really was close to getting it, but Tyrant luckily saved the day. And while I was walking back up the map, I'm not even sure what happened, but my teammates managed to score a goal, and we actually won the set, forcing us to set number 3. Now in set number 3, we actually had an insane comp. I was very happy with the draft, and honestly, my job was very simple this set. My job was to hold down lane while providing power-ups to my teammates, and that's exactly what I did. Everything was going pretty perfect, everyone was playing very, very solid, and we managed to grab 10 gems pretty safely and took game number 1. Now at this point, we were 1 game away from winning the entire tournament, so we decided to try something a little bit sneaky and double lane, and it worked perfectly. We grabbed the kill and took full control, and honestly, it was looking like we were probably going to walk away with this tournament, but you never know inside of Brawl Stars. Now unfortunately though, at this point, Juan Carlos disconnected and came back as a bot. So with them having a bot, there was nothing really they could do, and we took the win in kind of an unfortunate and anticlimactic fashion. So this honestly sucks for them, but GG's to them nonetheless. But that still meant we were going to win the tournament. Now I quickly want to preface that this isn't a super serious tournament. Most pros just use this as practice, so if I really wanted to come back to competitive, I would still have a very long way to go. But I hope you enjoyed watching us play in a tournament, and if you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.